everybody, and welcome back to the Game Team. I'm your host, Brandon Alanis, and oh man, what a week for news it has been. I wrapped up filming on last week's episode, and then there was like multiple big announcements, and that's just the video game news, not like the real world news. I'm just not going to talk about that. But before we jump into our headlines, let's get to our releases of the week. It's actually a pretty slow week for releases compared to news. F1 Manager 2024 is the biggest launch of the week, with some smaller titles like the new Denpa Man, the star-named EOS, and Earth's Defense Force SITS also releasing. Special shout out to EDF SITS because I'm very happy those games are still being made and they're chaotic, laggy, bug-killing mess. Actual masterpieces. In other releases related news, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 joined the Game Pass library this week as the second Activision title following the release of Diablo 4 onto Game Pass. But let's not stay on our releases of the week too long because we have so much news to cover, so let's get to our headlines. EVO 2024, the world's biggest fighting game competition, took place this weekend, and the event came with some amazing moments, including an awesome one we'll be talking about later. And like I said, so many announcements. Guilty Gear Strive made a splash of some big roster updates. The game's 4th season pass will see Queen Dizzy in October and Venom in early 2025, with both characters returning from Guilty Gear 10. A new character named Unica will be the 3rd character released later in 2025, but the biggest surprise is the pass's final character, Lucy from Cyberpunk Edgerunners, who will be the first ever guest character in a mainline Guilty Gears title. This might actually push me to finally give Strive a chance. But that's not all in announcements for the game though, as Strive will be receiving a new Team of 3 online mode coming next season. Grand Blue Fantasy vs. Rising is getting another fighter as Versusia is joining the game and will drop on August 20th. She wasn't the only confirmed fighter though, as Vigalik, the final Season 1 pass fighter, drops in October, and Sandalphon was announced for a 2025 release as the first Season 2 pass fighter. I probably butchered all those names. Multiverses continues to grow its roster. The free-to-play Smash Bros. Inspired fighter, which relaunched earlier this year, is seeing Samurai Jack and Beetlejuice make their way into the game. Samurai Jack will join the game's roster on July 23rd, along with Season 2's launch. It is expected that Beetlejuice will join the roster later into Season 2, maybe alongside the release of Beetlejuice, the sequel to the Halloween classic. Season 2 will also see a new stage in the iconic Warner Bros. Water Tower. And while we're on the topic of multiverses, Warner Bros. Announced that last week they have acquired the game's developer, Player First Games, officially bringing them under the Warner Bros. Games umbrella. You still with us for fighting game roster additions? Because King of Fighters 15 is seeing Mature and Vice join their roster this December, making their return from King of Fighters 94 and King of Fighters 95 respectively. Uzuki joins Under Night in Birth Sis Celeste, and Hunter x Hunter Nets x Impact got its final roster character edition before the game's launch later this year in Miram. SNK showed up with quite a bit of announcements. Fatal Fury City of the Wolves is set for launch next year, and SNK confirmed another character, Kevin Ryan, who joins the already confirmed roster of 9 other characters. The company also announced that they're working on a new Art of Fighting game and an action RPG spin-off of Samurai Showdown, with both titles still being a ways out. SNK also shadow dropped a port of SNK vs. Capcom SVC Chaos, releasing it on PS4, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Capcom also made an appearance at EVO with a new trailer for Terry Bogard's guest appearance in Street Fighter 6, with Terry joining the roster sometime this fall. And while promoting the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, the game's producer Shuhei Matsumoto said that the developers at Capcom want to make another Marvel game. The development team at Capcom has big dreams. Maybe there's an opportunity for a new Marvel vs. Capcom game. Maybe in the future, if people get to familiarize themselves with these series, then there may be future opportunities to make bigger games. Matsumoto had his full interview with Dexerto, and I highly recommend giving the full interview a read, link in the description below. The biggest announcement from the show though was that, well, Heihachi Mishima is alive. No matter how many cliffs he gets thrown off and volcanoes he's thrown into, Heihachi finds a way to survive. This also means that series producer Katsuhiro Harada lied to us because, well...
JDCR, I have one comment for you. Heihachi Mishima is completely dead.
Heihachi will return to Tekken enjoying the Season 1 pass as the third character following Eddie and Lydia's inclusion and arrive sometime this fall along with new story content, an online practice mode, and a ghost versus ghost mode. And with that, we end our coverage of EVO 2024's announcements. Literally minutes after we wrapped filming last week, Variety confirmed that the Halo TV show, based off of Xbox's flagship franchise, was cancelled after just 2 seasons at Paramount+. Since its debut in 2022, the series has faced scrutiny from fans because of its inaccuracies and little care for the series lore. While I think the show may have had some moments, I do agree with the common reception. The show may not be completely over though, as Xbox 343 Industries and Amblin Entertainment are shopping the show around to other networks for a potential Season 3. In all honesty though, after the success of shows like Fallout and The Last of Us, I would love to see another network pick up the show and reboot it, instead of a Season 3. Halo has so much potential as a live-action production, and hopefully somebody can give the series the justice it deserves. BioWare confirmed the main cast for Dragon Age the Velgard this week. Rook, who is the player character, will have 4 voice options: Alex Jordan, Bryony Corrigan, Erika Ishii, and Jeff Berg. The companions will see Ali Hallis as Harding, Ike Amadi as Darvin, Ji Young Han as Belara, Jessica Clark as Nev, Jim Maley as Tosh, Nick Borain as Emmerich, and Zach Mendes as Lucanus, with Gareth David Lloyd and Brian Bloom returning as Solus and Varric respectively. Very excited to see how everybody's performances turn out, as this is an area that BioWare usually does not miss in. Fortnite and Lego's collab continues in the real world, as Lego officially shared a look at the first ever Lego Fortnite sets. The 4 sets include a battle bus with crazy amount of minifigures, a buildable Peely statue based off one of his in-game skins, a Durr Burger, and a Loot Llama. These look really great, and I would expect to see more sets be made in the future, as I can't see these not being a success. Fortnite also had an update this week that added some new Deadpool and Wolverine skins inspired by their movie looks, which look amazing. Plus, there's also a set of new summer quests that give you the ability to unlock some free stuff, including the Tesla Cybertruck, which I guess is cool for those who actually like that, well, we'll say vehicle, and Green Day's Holiday in Use in Fortnite Festival. As a huge Green Day fan, I'm definitely going to be attempting a full combo on Expert for all instruments sometime this weekend. Humble Games announced a restructuring this week, firing the entirety of their staff. Now, usually a restructuring includes laying off some people. So, in this case, I think we can just say this was a closure and not dance around the actual truth. Humble did confirm though that all of the publisher's upcoming titles are still slated to release, so we'll see how that plays out. Humble Games has been behind some of the best indie games released in the last couple of years, so I wish all of those affected the best of luck in finding new places in the industry, because they are clearly a very talented group of people. In some positive industry news, 241 workers at Bethesda Game Studios, the iconic studio behind the Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and Starfield, unionized this week. Joining the Communication Workers of America, this move marks the first wall-to-wall union at an Xbox game studio. Microsoft has already recognized the union, and Bethesda wasn't the only Microsoft studio to unionize though, as over 500 workers at Blizzard formed the World of Warcraft Game Makers Guild, another wall-to-wall union with the CWA. I personally wish all the workers the best of luck in what is hopefully the first steps in changing the games industry for the better, especially after the high number of layoffs seen in the last year and still happening, just as you heard. Ubisoft released a lengthy statement this week covering recent controversies over Assassin's Creed Shadows. This mostly stems from the portrayal of Yasuke, a black historical figure from Japanese history who is portrayed as a samurai in the game. There have been some controversy over this not being historically accurate, with historians being mixed on if he was ever given the title of samurai. Many of these fans say that Assassin's Creed has always been a series with strong historical accuracies. Do note, this is also the series where we see Leonardo da Vinci building a tank, a magical staff being used during the French Revolution, and well, an assassin from ancient Greece living to be around the young age of 2,400 years old. Other complaints have also been made over the lack of a Japanese protagonist. Yasuke is one of 2 protagonists, the other being Naoe, a Japanese shinobi. Ubisoft stated that the Assassin's Creed titles have always played with real historical events and figures, mixing them with fictional and magical elements. And obviously, it has been a common trend for Assassin's Creed games to play with that idea that history that we know isn't actually what happened, usually done by filling in the blanks of history or slightly altering these events. Ubisoft said that besides some of these creative liberties, they have put significant effort in making an immersive and respectful depiction of feudal Japan. It's good to see Ubisoft defend their creative decisions, as I believe nothing being done with this title is out of the ordinary for the series, and the controversy is mostly being overblown. Assassin's Creed Shadows launches this November, and I, for one, am rooting for it to be a success. And with that, this has been another week of the Game Ping. Next week, we'll be covering all the video game related news that comes out of San Diego Comic-Con. So remember to click that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss a thing. I've been your host, Brandon Alanis. See you all soon.